Now, it's time for Straight on the Point with your host from some undisclosed location. Here's Jesse T.
Wow! Wow! Undisclosed location in my underwear today. Yes, I am. I'm under the weather and under the car. I'm just under everything. I'm like your undercover agent. I just feel so under. Yes, under you, baby. That's right. 36, 24, 36 action on a Tuesday in Southern California. Good to have you with me. Jesse T, the Brown Beauty, is back on duty. And I'll tell you, man, we got a great show lined up for us. You know who this handsome gentleman is over here on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. This handsome gentleman right here, I'm not going to tell you because he's too darn handsome. That's right. That's why I'm like half in the picture. I'm going to give it all to him. If I get in the picture, I crack the screen. But anyhow, this is Scott Butler. Actor Scott Butler's in the house with us. We're going to get to him in just a second. Just want to invite everybody and welcome everybody on Instagram Live. Come on, let's get them going. Let's start chiming in on Facebook.com, The Power of Voices and Jesse Terrero. And we can't forget about UPeak Ustream live stream and Periscope and The Power of Voices.com and AVEntertainmentLive.com. So it's good to have you along with us as we move through the week. It's another beautiful, beautiful day in paradise. The Pacific Blue Ocean is just gorgeous here in Los Angeles. Beastmaster Fly Girls are on the line with us. Thank you, Beastmaster Fly Girls. That conjures up some imagination, doesn't that, Scott?
Sure does. It sure does.
Beastmaster Fly Girls.
She sounds like an interesting person.
She looks interesting, too. Hiya. How you doing? I feel like my godfather, Harry Newman there, from the old KLAC days here in Los Angeles. But anyway, we're here together on the air and everywhere from the Power of Voices. That's what we're all about. Today, going to be talking some acting, going to be talking some motivational stuff. I got some stuff lined up that I think is really cool. And Scott, I wanted to spread this by you. You've had, well, first off, let's welcome Scott Butler properly. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Holy terrors. Hey, we met Scott Butler out at the Lamel Theater in the NoHo District at a beautiful red carpet for a premiere of a brand new picture called Holy Terrors. It's a horror film, and this guy is just absolutely terrific in the movie. He plays a priest, and I'm not going to give anything more about it. I'll let him talk about it, but it's just terrific. And I said, man, I got to have you on the show. So I cornered him in the corner and did a little quick interview.
He did.
We were alive.
He
yes,
did.
I did, right?
I was very well cornered.
Yeah,
yes.
he was
no
cornered.
escaping.
No escaping me. Not Jesse T. I can't help but being me, Jesse T. You can't escape me when I get my radar and sonar. I mean, I'm like North Korea.
Got
well,
your
maybe
hooks
not.
into me, yeah.
Wait, I'm slipping politics in there, aren't I? Yes, well. Anyway, so I said, I got to have him on the show. And you, of course, you are listening to that beautiful, beautiful English accent. Oh, yes, it's so debonair.
I'm still clinging on to it. I've been here 15 years, so I don't want to let that go, you know?
Now, what part of England were you born in?
I was born in South London in a place called Croydon, but I grew up mostly in Kent, which is like southeast of London, kind of outside. And it's like quite green there, sort of, you know, fields and nice little houses and suburbs, and it's quite pretty, you know.
Now, when you go back home to visit family and such, have you been back recently?
Yeah, I went back mid last year.
Do they hear the difference in your accent now that you've been gone for so long? I mean, is it? Do you hear the difference in their accents?
Yeah, it's whenever I speak to them on the phone or I see them, I always think they sound way too English. You know, it's like English amped up. And then I find after a couple of days, I've completely synced back into how they're speaking.
So you're dropping right back into it.
Yeah,
right?
it's just it's just like sort of sliding on a pair of old comfortable boots you haven't worn in a while. You know.
Yeah.
And then I come back to the US, and then all my friends are like, "You sound really English right now." And then it takes me a couple of days to get back into sort of relaxing that a little bit.
Man.
Yeah.
That's funny. I love. Give me some real hometown Londish English. Yes, please.
Oh God, there's a lot of funny sayings, and the thing is, over the years,
what are some of the funny sayings?
Just simple stuff. I mean, nothing that sounds too crazy, but I remember when I first moved over to the States, I'd have like problems. So you'd think us all speaking English, we'd speak the same language, but not at all. You know, the Atlantic divide does exist.
Yes,
and I remember coming over and just simple things like there was a guy I used to work with. Every time I'd see him in the corridor, I'd always say, "You all right, mate? You all right?" You know, as I'm walking past him, and he'd sort of like go, "Yeah, sure," you know. And then after 6 months, he was kind of like this emo sort of guy, you know.
Right.
Oh
yeah, very emo. If you don't know who emo was, just Google search emo, and you'll know exactly. You'll never forget emo. That's for sure.
Not the character from Sesame Street.
Right.
Just making sure that's Elmo.
That's Elmo.
But you know, he came up to me after 6 months, and he said, "Whenever you say, are you all right? Is there a problem with me?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just saying, like, how you doing? Right? It's the same thing."
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, I've been worried about that for 6 months. Oh my God." You know, he was fretting about it, you know. And there was another guy, he was hilarious. He was this guy I worked with, he was a wonderful guy. And he came up to me and said, "Hey, I did that work for you." And I put it in this thing and on the folder. And then I says, "Oh, cheers." He sort of looks at me confused. And then he walks off and he comes back and goes, "When you say cheers, am I supposed to say cheers back?" And I'm like, "It's optional, mate." There's all these weird things, you know.
That's funny.
So, yeah, we say a lot of funny stuff like, you know, toodaloo and cheerio, and so it's kind
Cheerios?
of Cheerios? Not Cheerios the cereal.
The
no,
Honey Nuts?
Cheerio
Cheerios?
is like hello.
Oh no! I was getting hungry there for a second.
I know.
Yes.
Do some cereal now.
Man, Jesus,
cereal.
get some milk in here, baby.
Yeah.
Give me some protein. Yeah. So a Cheerio.
Cheerio,
right?
Toodle Pip, and all that. Well, I mean, half of that's joking.
Tittle Tit?
No.
Tittle Tit?
No.
Did he just say Tittle?
No.
He just said Tittle Tit.
No, I didn't.
What the hell's a Tittle Tit?
But I meant Tilt Tit. No.
Oh.
No, Toodle Pip is a really old expression for saying, you know, like goodbye and all that kind of thing.
Tittle Pip.
But I do it just to mess with people.
I'm
It's
gonna go
super old fashioned, you know.
I'm going to go to Pacoima tonight. I'm going to go, Orale pues ese Tittle Pit. Yeah, right.
It's going to come out completely different, right?
You know what I've always like wanted to do, and I've never done this, but because you see, you came to America, and now you've got the English accent, because that'll never leave you. That's you were born with it. It's in your DNA. But you've softened it up being here.
I had
and
to.
Obviously you can do an American accent. And
it takes a little warming up. Yeah,
a little warming up to do. But the thing is, can you imagine like a Polish guy doing an English accent in Polish?
Oh yeah, I mean, you try,
or like a Russian guy doing a Mexican accent in Russian.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
If you've ever seen an actor whose first language is not English and their accent is super strong and they manage to pull that off, I'm always like, wow, you know, that's amazing.
Yeah, major props there.
Super
I mean, that
hard.
would be kind of funny to see a Russian guy playing Speedy Gonzalez,
and
doing it in Spanish and eating Taco Bell.
That'd be kind of cool
on a Stanislavski stage.
Yeah,
in Moscow.
I think we've got a new cartoon character out of this.
Yeah, yes, I think we do. Yes. Oh, and see, now I'm starting to fall.
But no, I had to soften the accent because, you know, when I first came here, it was like fast talking slang. It's like, "You're all right, mate. Yeah, it's beautiful outside. Sun's out. It's lovely. Oh, you're all right here." You know, and people are like, "What?
What?
Do you come?" And I would get this all the time. It's like, "Do you come with subtitles?" So
yes, we're going to have them down here pretty soon, right?
I know. Let's get the closed captioning on.
Hey, Phil Tabby's checking in with us. He's having a good time. Also, Bray Elemonte is checking in, and Beastmaster is there. Oh, I just love Beastmaster.
We all love Beastmaster.
Oh, yeah, Beastmaster, baby. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so we're gonna play a little something from you a little bit later on in here, your trailer, and we're looking forward to that. And folks, a trailer, of course, is little pieces and nibbles of the different things an actors put together that they're very proud of, and that kind of show off their talent. And you just mentioned you just updated it, and you just updated it because
of Holy Terror just got released this week.
Well, tell us about Holy Terror. This is a brand new movie he's in. We saw it, and it is friggin' scary.
It's a little creepy, isn't it? A little spooky.
Oh, no. And the twisty, man, I'm going to tell.
You got to be careful not to give it away.
Well, let me put it to you this way. When the movie ended, I went, no way. No way. It didn't go there, did it?
Yeah. Oh. That was the biggest thing. People like the ending wasn't expected.
No, totally not expected. So tell me about Holy Terror a little bit.
Yeah, Holy Terror is, it kind of sort of follows the sort of 70s, 80s sort of thriller horrors. You know, it's not about jump scares. It's not about cheap thrills. It's about setting up this atmosphere of this this troubled couple who have lost a son. and the mother, she starts having disturbances in the house that she notices, and is wondering if it's her son, trying to get in contact with her. There are certain connections there, and she ends up bringing in a medium. Played by Lisa London, who's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, she did a great job. She wasn't
really
in
good.
the whole film, but the portion she was in, right in the middle there, I mean, she slammed it. She hit it.
Yeah, it was a super important role because it's what kicks off the second half of the movie.
Right.
And she comes in and she does a séance and things don't quite go as planned. And then I'm brought in as kind of a sort of plan B, in a sense.
Now, but the I'm not going to give away the beginning of the film, but we see you in the beginning of the film. That I will say.
Yeah.
And so later on in the film, when you're kind of brought in, that's kind of a cool thing for an actor to play because you get to, you really have to make a transition there from what you were in some time past and what you have become at that moment when you come back. How was that? How did that work out?
Well, there was a couple of things. The first stuff I do is I do a lot of prep work in how to connect the scenes together because, as you know, in filming, it's not always shot chronologically.
Yeah, no,
very rarely.
Yeah.
So you're shooting, one scene then one day, and then a scene like from 3 scenes before the next day.
Right.
So you have to do a lot of preparation to kind of connect those together. Where have you come from? What are you going to? What are your obstacles and things?
Right.
And then so that helps to connect it. But then with the first opening scene in the movie, we shot that last. That was actually the very last scene we shot. So I told Rich, the director, Rich Mallory, who's absolutely fantastic, by the way, to just give me like 15 minutes. So I ran into the bathroom, shaved off my stubble, redid my hair, put some moisturizer in my face, and just kind of like try to look several years younger within the space of 15 minutes, and then come back in now in the priest outfit with a different vibe and a different of where I've come from and what my beliefs are and where my faith is and how strong it is as the priest in the movie. So
yeah, that's one of the things that when you made that shift, and I had no idea that the first scene was shot last. And isn't it crazy how that is? I mean, that's how they do it. They shoot so out of order. They juxtapose all over the place. It's based for reasons of location and budget and lighting and all that stuff comes into play. But in each director is different. But you as an actor, you have to be ready and prepared. And the interesting thing about yours piece right there is that you really are not in the same time and place as the character. There is a sense of time difference there, which I thought was really cool. So you pulled it off.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and it's having a great cast around you. I mean, everyone had to do the same thing. There were there was Christine DeBelle who played Sister Catherine. She was also in that scene too, and she had to do that as well. And we sort of had a little discussion between ourselves about where we're coming from and what we eventually became, which we shot prior to that, and how that kind of helped us in the scene. So yeah, we sort of had a crossover. I was the stronger one with my faith at the time. And
that's right.
That ends up becoming an issue later on from what happened. So,
and I love the director's name, or the writer producer, the producer director, Hatanaka.
Yes, Greg. Yeah,
it's Hatanaka, right?
Yes, Hatanaka.
See, we were having some Hatanakas that night. And we had just a few too many hot Tanakas. But I'll tell you,
you can't have too many hot Tanakas.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, man. I go down to the beach at Zuma, and I'm seeing lots of hot Tanakas. It's a hot Tanaka here and a hot Tanaka there. And, it's like Jiggle City.
It's California.
Yeah. The problem is when I looked at Mr. Hot Tanaka, he didn't have any hot Tanakas, but he had some behind him. And I was like, man.
He's a handsome chap.
Yeah, I gave him a hard time about his name. I know he grew up getting a hard time about his name. He had to be because if this juvenile delinquent mind can figure it out, then a 14-year-old certainly can. Yeah. Isn't that right? So how was he to work with?
He's amazing.
201 films this guy's put together.
It's mad.
It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean he's been sort of in the industry for a long time, and a lot of his stuff goes back to like the 90s, and he loves cult films and bringing those, and distributing those And yeah, I met him for the first time 6 years ago. Actually, I just moved to LA. I started out acting in San Diego for a couple of years. Started the small town.
I'm glad you came here.
It was fun. I had a good time. But anyway,
yes.
But it was good actually because it was a good transition. Because coming from a non-acting background, which I did, sort of jumping straight into LA for some people can be quite difficult, because you're overwhelmed by how many people there are here and how much stuff is going on, and how tough it can be.
But in London, it's very populated. It's one of the most populated cities in the world. London is.
Yeah,
so the population probably wasn't intimidating, but all the people in the
Right.
business, everybody.
Right.
We had Rich Graff in here yesterday, and he was saying he's from New York, and that's where his home base is, and he comes out here to do things and work. And he was saying that the difference between New York and here is that everybody's an actor here.
Right.
The cop is an actor. The guy Jack in the Box is an actor.
Yeah.
The guy driving the dump truck. The police officer. The lawyer.
Yeah.
The doctor. The babysitter. Everybody is an actor. Did you kind of get that sense too?
Yeah, it was weird coming here because in San Diego where I started, if anyone found out I was acting, they were like, "Wow, that's so cool!" Even though they're only 2 hours south of LA,
Right.
they thought it was super cool and interesting. And then you come to LA and you mention your action, like, yeah, right, It's like, yeah, so are you and everyone else that just walked in through the door today,
Yeah, it's like, oh, so what?
Yeah. So it quickly became a not so important thing to talk about. But going back to your point, yeah, Greg's amazing. I worked with him on a movie called Hunter with Ron Bex and
you did?
Magda Marcella. Yeah. They'd shot the film and they were doing some pickup shots for the film. And Magda, who's a friend of mine, she said, hey, there's this scene that needs filming. Are you interested in doing it? I was like, yeah, sure. I actually met Greg, a few years before, and so I came in to do that. We shot it in his house. And he still jokes about how I'm the only man who's been in his bath, which is kind of an odd thing to mention.
Oh,
but I get
okay.
strangled by a prostitute in the bath. So yeah. Fun fact.
Fun fact. Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm
so
kind of jealous. Can't I be your only
I
man?
know. I was like, I didn't know what to say to that. But yes, he's wonderful, and he's a very creative guy, and he loves film. I mean, he absolutely adores it. I mean, he can talk endlessly about classic movies and shooting on 35 mil and 16 mil and everything. And
man, the old school stuff, right?
He's super knowledgeable about that stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing about how the industry has changed because of the technology. It's so it's so exciting because you can do so many things with these micro cameras and that you could not do for the budget that you had before.
Right.
I mean, like the drone shots, you had to get a helicopter permit or a plane permit, or you had to get a crane permit to get that high moving shot. Now you just fly a drone up there and get a little FFA license.
Yeah, $100 drone and sorted,
And you got a great shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how is it as an actor to do work like that in this modern age of technology and like green screen and stuff like that? That's an art form that you really have to learn.
I done a little bit of green screen. I did some stuff for the government, actually. It was like super secret
Can you
stuff.
talk about it?
No, I can't, unfortunately.
Really?
It was for the military. And it was interesting because
what part of the military?
I'm not going there. Actually, I don't know, because they were so secretive about it that they had nothing in the set that gave away anything.
What color were the uniforms?
There were no uniforms. It was all civilian clothing. So it was super secret. We had to sign like a stack of paperwork that thick. But it was interesting because it was green screen with like 3 chairs and a couple of computer screens, and that was it. And the main guy who had been booked for the job, he was struggling to interact with basically nothing, around him.
Right.
And I was sort of in a sort of secondary role doing that. And then the director was getting a little frustrated, having problems with him, and then said, "Hey, this guy, me, come over and fill in his role." So it was a little awkward because I felt bad for the actor, but I filled in the role, and it was a great challenge because you really have to use your imagination to fill the set out around you.
They give you an idea of what they're shooting on the green screen.
No,
Not this time.
no. I mean, it was like it's a room with a lot of computers. That's all they told us.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I got to have this guy on the conspiracy show with me. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Are
And
you
then they did the Men in Black thing. They flashed our memory afterwards,
Oh, they
so,
really?
yeah. So I don't remember too much. Maybe
No,
they'll
you-
tell us more.
Yeah. Let's see what we can get out of them, folks. I'm gonna work
Alcohol
this a
always
little
works.
bit. Yes. Alcohol, huh? Yeah, Lee, can you go get us some alcohol, please? I want the secrets.
Yeah, bring the good stuff.
So you didn't see any aliens, right?
I didn't see any aliens. No.
And I'm not talking about the ones that come across the border. I'm talking about the ones that come from outer space.
No,
Yes.
I wish it was something to do with that because
Yeah, wouldn't that
I'm
be
a
cool?
UFO geek.
Oh, you are go
Yeah.
go away from me. Are you UFOologists?
Yeah, I love all that
oh,
stuff.
Oh, wait a second. That's it.
Is that what the show's gonna be about now?
That's it. That's it.
Put the acting aside. Let's talk about this stuff.
We're talking UFO, unidentified flying objects. Now, why do
I had
you
a sighting.
think? Do you really?
I had a sighting about 3 years ago.
Or you?
It was some. I mean, it was unidentified. Not saying it was not saying it was alien,
Well,
but it was
right.
it was something. You know,
Unidentified doesn't mean it's extraterrestrial.
right? But it was interesting. I was sitting outside a coffee shop with a friend of mine, and I was sort of faced looking out into the strip mall and the sky. Right. It was a beautiful, clear sky, no clouds at all. And I just see this white sphere going quite slowly, like I don't know what speed because it's so high up, but going across the sky and it stopped dead and just hung there. And then I tapped my friend on the shoulder and said, "Hey, look at that!" And he turns around, he saw it too.
Yeah.
And they went pew, straight from the sky.
Yeah. Well,
Super fast.
They say the military, from what we know as the public and what we're allowed to know and what we're allowed to read and see, the military is 50 years ahead of us in terms of the technology. What we don't,
What we
know,
see, right?
What we can't see,
Right.
what they won't let us see.
Right,
So,
I'm sure.
and you know, I take great pride in trying to figure out what the military's doing before they do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things. But yeah, I've seen when I was younger, I saw things go across the sky and then all of a sudden change direction.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen.
No,
I come from a flying family.
right.
You can't.
You don't see that.
No, you can't see that at all. But UFO stuff is really cool. If you ever get the chance, go out to Area 51. Take the
Get the wire clippers break through the fence.
No,
go in.
take the extraterrestrial highway and go to the top of the mountain that you're allowed to be at. You're about 3 miles or 4 miles away
Right.
from Area 51, and stand up there. And of course, the guys in the 4x4s are watching you from the other.
Oh
mountain.
yeah, I'm sure I'm being watched by 1,000 eyes.
Oh yeah,
right?
they are.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Especially if you go up there with some of these people that this is their life.
Yeah.
And they can tell you everything they've seen and all the stuff that's gone on there.
Yeah.
It's really cool stuff. And anyway, Area 51 is someplace we know about, but nobody knows about Area 47
Oh,
or Area 41.
they don't sound as important. They got lower numbers.
No, they do, but they don't sound important. But they give us Area 51 to
They
chew
gave us
on.
that one.
Yeah, they
Distract us with that.
Chew the fat on,
Right,
you know.
right.
So now, well, that probably leads to the fact that maybe someday you're going to do a Star Trek or something. Wouldn't that be cool to do? Like a
Yeah.
sci-fi movie like that?
Well, I have one potentially coming up with a friend of mine. He's super talented.
Gee, how did I know
guy.
that?
He just did a movie called Pterodactyl that came out, starring one of my friends who was at the screening actually that night. In fact, the director of Pterodactyl's there too. His name's Don Bitters. He's super cool. And he's doing a sci-fi movie right now called Escape Velocity. That's the working title. And it's really interesting. I've read the script and this is exciting.
Sci-fi's got to be cool.
Yeah, I love sci-fi. I grew up on Star Wars and
So you're a Star Wars geek? I'm a Star Trek geek.
I still have the toys.
Oh,
I
man.
shouldn't admit that.
Oh, don't worry about that. You know what some of those are worth now?
They're all the vintage ones, yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're still boxed up and not used.
No, I played with them.
You played the heck out of them.
I know. They're worth like $10 now if I'm lucky.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
Let's play that. Set up this reel that you have, and tell us a little bit about as Lee gets that set up for us. Tell us a little bit about what we're about to see.
Yeah, this reel is just it's 3 different films I worked on. I have a bunch of different reels for like different things I target. But this one here is it's got Holy Terror at the beginning, which just came out last week, and then after that is Lionsgate's Wiener Dog Internationals that I worked on
Right.
a couple of years ago. It just came out in 2015.
Isn't that crazy? You do something a few years ago and it comes out a few years later.
Yeah,
It's the weirdest stuff.
Typically like a year and a half to 2 years for
Yeah.
the bigger ones, because they really do put it through a lot of post-production and
Yeah.
cleaning it up and making sure it,
Right,
is
right.
perfect. And
Yeah.
then the one after that is Warner Brothers 16 Love, which I did in San Diego. So
Yeah,
so you're
San
not hitting
Diego.
San Diego.
Well, they say
my start.
San Diego is the very epitome of Southern California weather and lifestyle. It is the best weather in the United States of America.
It's always like 75.
Always.
Yeah.
And the beach is always cool and it's always clean. Except,
It's
of
very
course,
clean.
they had that big sewer dumping on the Tijuana River about a month and a half
That's
ago.
true.
So
Yeah,
that kind of wasn't cool. So we got that set up,
tainted.
ready to go? All right. So, everybody, this is Scott Butler and his reel. Check it out right here on ABTV Live.
What about the church? The process? What we're about to do won't be sanctioned.
You focus on your faith. I need you free of doubt.
True accounts of demonic possessions are incredibly rare. 9 times out of 10, the symptoms are due to mental illness that has been misdiagnosed.
But that 1 time out of 10?
Let's just say anything is possible.
Who are you?
Like Tom said, I'm a friend.
You're a priest. No. You were a priest, but not anymore.
How did you know that?
I can smell it.
You overheard Tom and Molly talking about calling me, didn't you?
I'm so tired. Would you mind coming back later?
I'm afraid I can't do that, Billy. We need to talk now.
Judge Brown, sir.
Yes, what is it?
I have the results of that research you wanted me to do.
And?
Well, it's not looking good, sir. I think the kids may be right. There are several instances of known cloning, and Merryweather Industries recently became a sponsor of several of the countries involved. In fact, most of today's winning dogs.
A wiener conspiracy.
I'm afraid so, sir.
Well,
Miss Merryweather, you'll need to come with us with the security guard. We have to ask you a few questions about Merryweather Industries. Today's final round match is the best of 3 tie-break sets. To my right, from St. Petersburg, Russia, Miss Katina Ukranova. Match point, mismatch. Match point, mismatch.
Cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Now, hey, guys, if you want to see that, facebook.com/Jesse Terrero, you can go and check out the other feed that we have going on. And that would be on facebook.com/straight on the point. Correctly? Yeah, that's where you'll get the video feed of the trailer we just played. And a lot of the graphic stuff. What you guys are getting right here is the raw, the real, the down, dirty, nitty, and gritty of the Jesse T Show here on our Facebook direct feed and Instagram Live. So, so check it out at facebook.com/straight on the point. And that's where we run the produce show as we're doing it. So just to let you know on that in that respect. Okay, so cool, man. I tell you that Holy Terror stuff right in the beginning, that transition that you had to make when she's laying in bed there, and you figure you're trying to figure her out. And she's telling you things about yourself you've never told anybody. And
yeah,
you see it right in your face. Great work.
Thank you. It was an interesting scene because he comes in there sort of a little unsure of his faith. You know, he's had a difficult past, and he decides to go ahead with this. And I guess in a way he's hoping that if things work out this time, that it's kind of redemption for him and he's doing somebody some good. You know, that's what he's always believed in. But when she starts relaying to him information of that past incident that she would never know anything about unless she was possessed or something, right?
Right.
Then it completely flips his confidence, and internally he sort of gets a little shaken up by it, but he tries to remain kind of poker faced because he needs to take control of the situation. So it was an interesting transition to make.
How did you get that? How did you get that role?
So Greg, after working on Hunter, he contacted me, and we were going to work on Samurai Cop 2, which came out.
That was a terrific, fun kind of. It was a very farce kind of. It was a great follow up to the original one 20 years before.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Samurai Cop 1 was amazing. It was they both were great films.
One of the biggest cult films even today.
Yeah, it's got a great following, a huge bunch of followers. But yeah, so I was going to work on that, and unfortunately I was out in Vegas for a while, so my schedule couldn't work out, so it didn't happen. And then Greg said, "No worries," and then he got in contact with me about a month before we started shooting and said, "Hey, I'm interested in having you for this role. Would you be interested in that?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, send me the script." And he sent me the script over, and I remember one night I thought, all right, I'm going to read it tonight. Got a little glass of wine, sat on the couch, had a night to myself. and thought, all right, let's read this. And typically when I read a script, I have to read it in a couple of sittings, if I'm being honest.
Right.
You know, but when I picked it up and started reading it, I just read it through in one sitting and immediately texted back. And it was funny because I texted him with some profanity,
right?
Saying
yeah,
that this is effing cool.
Yes,
I want to be a part of this.
Yes,
and then he didn't reply back to me for a while, and I thought, oh, he thinks I'm such a potty mouth or something, you know.
There's that English coming in there, that potty mouth.
A potty mouth. So and then he got back and said, the role's yours if you want it. So I had about a month to prepare, and then we started shooting in December.
Well, you know, when you get a script, you never know when the shooting is going to start, and so once you get the role, the preparation, and everybody prepares a little bit differently. Is your preparation quick or slow? Is it fast? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it outside in, inside out, or do you just kind of show up and say, "I got it"?
Yeah, it depends on the project. I mean, sometimes you get literally like a day. You know, somebody sort of says, "Hey, this actor pulled out something. Can you fill in and do something for us?" You know, and then you come in and you just basically stay out late, you know, and rehearse the hell out of it and get the lines down. And I have a memorization technique that helps me out to do like quick turnarounds on that.
Right.
And then jump into it.
Is that a lot of tequila?
A lot of tequila, yes, that helps. No, I think that has the reverse effect.
Maybe vodka.
I can't even remember my name after tequila.
Maybe gin is more like you're saying.
Right, yeah, maybe gin. No, I'm a wine guy.
You are?
I've transitioned. Yeah, I used to be all beer.
Oh my goodness.
You know. I was the pub lout.
I'm telling you,
20s.
he's getting sophisticated on us here.
I'm trying to be.
He comes from England drinking beer, and he comes to L.A. Now he's drinking wine. It should be kind of the other way around. Well, not really. They drink a lot of beer in England.
You know why I like wine? Because sometimes you can get good wine for cheaper than you can get beer.
Oh, yeah.
You can get like a $2.99 bottle, and it's actually not bad.
Man, I drank a lot of cheap wine when I was younger.
The $2 chuck, as you guys call it. $2 chuck.
Oh, yeah. Lord. And I drank it down, and it came up the same way. So I got a double taste, you know? Yeah. Oh, gee, thanks, Lord.
Yeah. Well, you get 2 bottles for the price of one. Just tastes a little different the second time.
That's right. I had some tacos, so I had a little taco taste to it.
It's a little crunchy.
Oh, you are disgusting.
All right, we're lowering the tone. I've got to maintain the
no, you don't.
The world's
not on my show.
No, I'm letting it go now.
We can go as gutter as you want to go.
I know. I'm letting it all see what's happened to me.
Yeah, that's right.
And no alcohol involved too.
I'm not. You see, afterwards, someone go get him drunk, right?
See, we can really take me.
So you came to acting in later on in your life, and there's another guy who's really successful in life, and he kind of came to chicken later on in his life. Now I don't know how this is going to relate, but you've had Kentucky Fried Chicken before.
Oh
right?
Yeah,
and you know I like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Sure. And I like Popeyes and I like Pioneer. And I can't eat a lot of that anymore due to nutritional and health standards. But it's just got a little too much salt in it and stuff like that. Too much grease. But this guy, Kentucky Colonel Sanders. Now I'm going to read you his dossier. It's going to go real fast, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. And so Kentucky, everybody knows Kentucky Fried Chicken. So Harlan Sanders was the guy's real name, and he was designated colonel by the governor of the state of Kentucky at some point in his life, an honorary colonel. Okay, so at 5 years old, his father dies. At 16, he quits school. At age 17, he had already lost 4 jobs. At age 18, he got married. Between 18 and 22, he was a railroad conductor and failed.
Wow.
He joined the Army and washed out there too. He applied for law school where he was rejected. He became an insurance agent and failed again. At 19, he became a father. At 20, his wife left him and took their baby daughter. He became a cook and a dishwasher in a small cafe. He failed in any attempt to kidnap his own daughter. He tried, and eventually he got convicted, and his wife, he got convicted. At age 65, he retired. On the first day of retirement, he received a check from the government for $105. He left that government. He felt that the government was saying that he couldn't provide for himself, so he decided to commit suicide. It wasn't worth living for anymore, so he had failed so much that he sat under a tree writing his will, but instead he wrote words that were quite different, his accomplishments in life and what he did in his life. He realized there was much more than than doing and getting that he had actually accomplished and done. He was a cook, so he borrowed $87 from a pal against his check and tried to make some of his mother's chicken using the family recipe. He went door to door to sell his chicken at 67 years old.
Wow.
In the neighborhood where he lived in Kentucky.
That's crazy.
After he lost his restaurant because Route 66 turned into Highway 10 and it didn't go by the little town anymore, and he lost the motel and the family land.
Wow, what a story.
Right? And by the age of 88, Colonel Sanders, who found Kentucky Fried Chicken, the empire, was a billionaire. And all this story is true. And he sold the Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise ultimately for $400 million in the 1970s.
Wow.
And he became a billionaire. Now,
that's crazy.
I always love that because that guy had everything going against him.
Mm-hmm.
When you start looking at stories like that, you say, my goodness, he just never quit.
Right.
He never gave up. No matter what he did, he failed.
Yeah.
There's even other things about him when you read his whole biography. He used to get in fights with his bosses, and they would throw him out the job. So, I mean, there's a lot of things about him. But he failed and failed and failed. But finally, at 88, 65 to 88, he makes it. So when you look at changing your career, like you have done, because you were doing something completely different, and you came to the entertainment business and acting later on in life. So how does that feel when you come to something? Is this something that you always wanted to do, or how does it feel to make that change?
Yeah,
like the Colonel.
It was very crazy. I mean, I think when I was like 10 or 11, and sort of an age where you sort of understand that there are, you know, people behind these movies, you know, that I was enjoying, that would be a fun thing to do, right? You know, and I was interested in acting, but nothing ever happened. There was a couple of auditions popped up locally, but I never went to them. It just didn't happen, and that was that. And then it kind of got forgotten about. And then with the recession we just had, end of 2008, I was laid off from my corporate job. And suddenly found myself struggling to find work because everyone was closing the doors saying, we're not hiring right now. We don't know what's going on, you know. And so I thought, instead of sitting around idle while I'm applying for these jobs, is there anything, it's my first break in 20 years from doing this job, you know. Is there anything I want to do? And I thought, you know, various things. And then one of them was like, well, why don't I try taking an acting class? Because even if I'm terrible at acting, maybe my public speaking will get a little better. Because I have to do a lot of presentations in my job and things like that. So I went to, I found a class in San Diego and went over there. And funny enough, it was like literally right around the corner from the company I'd just been laid off from. It was kind of surreal.
Wow.
And I actually saw some of my coworkers in the car parking lot and went in there and I walked upstairs and then I got down the corridor to audit this class. And I thought, what am I doing? I'm being crazy. So
you're having these flashes.
Yeah.
Now,
So I turned around and I went back and I actually went back to the car. And then when I got back to the car, I was like, no, come on, just check it out. Just see what it's like. Then I went back in. So that was the turning point. Anyway, cut long story short, I was doing that and I was nervous at first. It was like, you know, terrifying and the whole thing with cameras, it was super weird. And then after a few weeks, I started auditioning, getting student films and short films. And I said to a good friend of mine who I started class with, I said to him, wouldn't it be cool, like 1 year in, to get a movie that's shown in theaters or like a TV show on the network or something? Right. And I got both within a year. And
wow, so you kind of laid out the dream publicly, right there, and it happened.
Yeah, and 16
Very
Love
cool.
was that movie. So
very cool.
I just thought, all right, I've got to see where this goes, you know.
And you've been working steady ever since.
Yeah,
I mean,
very, very
for
grateful.
about 10 years now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
If you go to Scott Butler's IMDb site, what you'll see is a ton of credits, and that's not all of your credits. That's just a portion of them.
Yeah, there's been some other projects too.
Yeah, so he's been working pretty steady on that. Some of the films that you did and some of the projects that you work on that you look back on right now at this point in your career, what are some of the ones that really stood out for you that you really found to be exciting or dangerous or or just a pain in the butt or just the thrilling that you got done with it or just exhilarating? I mean,
I've enjoyed them all. I've never really had a bad experience. I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but never been fired off a set. Which I always hear from a lot of actors. You're never an actor till you've been fired once.
That's right. I've been fired. I've been fired 43 times.
I've been fired from jobs, but I haven't been fired as an actor yet. I'm sure it's coming.
This is one of they haven't fired me here yet.
But yeah, I've enjoyed them all. But some have been more exhausting than others. And of course, when you're starting out, you're doing a lot of unpaid work, and things like that.
What?
So
unpaid work? What's that?
Yeah, I know, right?
I've never heard of such a concept.
Yeah, you're an intern. It's like, you're working your way in.
I thought we got paid from the beginning. Yes, we could live like Stallone.
Yeah,
right.
But the stuff I really, really like, kind of sunk my teeth into that I had a lot of fun with was playing somebody completely opposite to me. When people meet me, they think, "Oh, nice guy," kind of thing, right? And then, but I've played, assassins and serial killers, and actually that picture that your assistant saw, he saw that. It just doesn't look like me at all,
I think you could pull off a serial killer. You got that serial killer kind of face. Look at that face. He's got that.
I'm not sure if I should take that as a compliment or not.
Yeah,
but,
that's okay.
For an actor, work is work, right?
Yeah, it's work is work.
Work is work.
Yeah.
But I did a short film playing a serial killer, and it was funny because it was a young student who was doing a film. It was one of the first things I did. And, I went on a date with this girl, but I was, killing these girls off. And we shot it in her house, and she was living there with her parents and forgot to tell her parents that we were shooting that day.
Oh, no.
And her parents came in at night, and all the lights are off, and I'm walking around in like a black outfit, black shirt and pants with a big kitchen knife, walking around going, "Catherine."
and mom and dad walk in?
Voice. Mom and dad walk in with the groceries, and they freak out. And then
Did you hear this sound?
Yeah, I know. I thought this is America. You gotta be careful,
Yes, we got shotguns.
I know. And so the lights came on, and then of course, she came out quickly and said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you." And I put the kitchen knife down and walked over and said, "Hello, nice to meet you." All cheery. And they were like, "This is so weird."
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
I think I would react a little differently too. My goodness. Can't imagine that. Oh boy, that's kind of a fun story.
That was kind of fun, and I did a web series in the first couple of years in San Diego.
That's becoming real popular now, isn't it? Web series.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of what has spawned sort of the transition into internet media now. It's like everything's a lot of stuff, not everything, but there's Amazon Video like Holy Terror and Netflix and stuff, and they're huge now. I mean,
Netflix has 22 brand new self-funded productions that they're doing right now. 22.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they'll pay $10-15 million for some of their top stuff.
Yeah.
$5 million to about $15 million. With 100 million listeners, they're just dishing out the cash.
Yeah, when House of Cards came out, I think that was their first Netflix.
That was
original,
their first one, right?
I was like, wow, this is really good.
I mean, what they did with Black Sails, that was not necessarily Netflix, but I mean, that's what's happening now in the industry. It's all transitioning over to that type of stuff, and it's actually great for actors, though.
It is, because in a sense, there's sort of more outlets for media now, so thus creates more work. But it's spread out. There's, especially with all the tax incentives in the US. You've got a lot of stuff in Atlanta and Vancouver and Toronto and Canada,
everywhere.
So actors have to kind of move around and be ready for that.
Well, that's why a lot of the big projects go out of the country, because basically it's like a giant pre-sale. They get to another country, the country pays for the whole production and the tax write-offs and the rebates, and they basically got the whole production funded that they put out money for, so the investor gets the money back. And it's like a big pre-sale.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is worry about the distribution at that point. So, I mean, that's why they do it. And that's why Hollywood is left. There was a time, my grandfather came on board to Warner Brothers. He spent 51 years at Warner Brothers. And there was a time that Warner Brothers itself was making 600 films a year.
That's crazy.
Is that mind-boggling?
That is mind-boggling.
Out of that lot in Burbank, they were pumping out 600 fully completed, produced, ready-to-show films in all of the Warner Brothers theaters across the nation per year.
That's crazy.
Because what would happen is you wouldn't, if you had a Warner Brothers film, and you see, that when they were broke up, the studio system is because of the monopoly of the theaters. That's what broke them up. Not the fact that the studio system was employing a lot of people and they were always on payrolls and all that, but it was the monopoly of the theaters across the nation.
Right.
And that's where they got the system got broke up. But if you were a Warner Brothers theater, like the Pacific Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, which is just a shambles of a building now, it's the only last wrecked building and theater on Hollywood Boulevard not to be renovated. That was a Warner Brothers theater, and that whole now Chinese down the way was a different theater, different complex owned that theater. United Artists. Paramount, they had all their own theaters. You wouldn't play a Paramount film in a Warner Brothers theater.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, you wouldn't play
I
a
didn't know
United.
that.
Yeah, you would not play a United Artists film in a Paramount theater.
Right.
20th Century Fox would never carry a Mayer film.
So they basically controlled it all through the line. It was the production, and putting it out, and then in their own theaters too.
Yeah, and the popcorn and the soda and
Warner Brothers popcorn,
the cigarettes. Yes, the cigarette girl that always used to walk around.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So that's
fascinating.
That's how the industry has changed so much in that respect. But it's kind of going old fashioned if you think about it, because with the technology, there is more product being put out there.
Yeah.
By a lot of different people, yes, but there's more product. There's so much to see and do.
I almost can't keep up with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many amazing TV shows. You know, I'm just getting caught up in Game of Thrones, and there's just other stuff popping up every week. It's
I
can't.
You can't keep. It's an impossibility. Yeah. But that makes it kind of exciting for the viewer, because with the Facebook and all that stuff and the smartphones and the VR stuff coming and a holographic 3D and 4K and the VR stuff on its way now.
That's right.
I mean, the whole theater experience is going to change dramatically. And even the television experience at home with the wraparound screens and it's just going to change. So it's really exciting. So you did a good thing making a shift. What was your corporate life? What did you do?
I still do it a little bit too. I'm an artist in video games. I was offered the job when I was 16.
So do you make video games?
Yeah.
Are you, really? So see, he is a guru.
And a geek. You see where the geek comes from?
Yes, he's a guru and a geek. That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to hire you. We gotta talk. That's right.
Jesse T video game?
Yeah, no, just Jesse T.
Just Jesse T.
That's right. That's right, man. Hey, well, that's kind of so you kind of had the talent bug in you. Even in your corporate life.
Well, it was, because
that's an artist. That's an artistic thing.
Yeah, and it is, and I always said it was like one of the most creative desk jobs you could always have.
Yeah.
And going back to the green screen thing, I've done a lot of voiceover and green screen. I always found that working in games has helped me a lot, because when you're creating a lot of the assets for the games, you're kind of working in a void in the 3D software that you're working on. So you're having to use your imagination and kind of fill out what hasn't been created yet. That you're kind of making this character or this environment for. So when you're doing green screen and voiceover, you kind of do that in the real world. You sort of like in this voiceover booth with a microphone like we have here, and just kind of now you're not in a booth, now you're in a field with things happening or whatever.
Yes.
And so it's interesting kind of bringing that across.
There used to be a lot of great voiceover artists in the town when you go back 20 or 30 years, but now a lot of those jobs are being taken by the superstars of our industry.
Yeah, well,
because it's easy work.
Yeah,
and of course they have their image, and they become a spokesperson for a lot of the stuff that they do. And you hear their voice, and you immediately have the recognition,
that connection,
and then that brings you to the product that much faster, because you listen.
Like Mr. Freeman.
Yes, there you go. Yes, absolutely. So I always had this fantasy. Johnny Carson is no longer with us, but he was the king of talk shows for a tremendous amount of time, almost 30 years. And the ones that followed, of course, was Jay Leno, and now he's retired. And then you have the fellow out of New York, Jimmy Fallon, who's kind of followed that line of the original talk show, The Tonight Show. But I always had this fantasy that I could sit in the chair next to Johnny, and he would ask me, start talking about the career and stuff, and we would talk about how long it took to become a success in this industry, and my response would have been something along this line. Well, yeah, I'm an overnight success. It just took me 50 years to get there. Right.
It's a good response.
Yeah, it's a good response, right?
Yeah.
But it sort of takes that kind of mental attitude, doesn't it?
It does. It does. You know, it's like when I first started, I always heard people saying the 10-year thing, right? You know, or put 10,000 hours into something, right? There's that kind of thing.
Kick the tree 10,000 times,
right?
Like martial artists say,
right? But you know, the thing is, it's different for everyone. It's like I think that a lot of people come into this industry, actors I'm talking about specifically, thinking that they have to follow this sort of formulaic way of getting in, and you've got to do this first, then you do your headshots, then you do this, and you do your classes, then maybe you get a commercial agent, then you go to theatrical.
It used to be like that.
But
there
it's
was
different.
a formula.
Yeah.
No, it's wide open now.
There's lots of shortcuts now.
It's wide open.
It's wide open.
You can do your own thing with your cell phone or your smartphone, and someone can see it. In fact, I understand that a lot of auditions now, they're just doing them at home.
I do a lot of self-tapes.
Yeah, self-tape, and just they send you the sides or the scripts, or you just download them and bang, you send it in, and they can see 3 times as many people that they could see before.
And this is for big stuff. I did self-tapes for Captain America Civil War, did 2 auditions for that, you know. So that stuff is doing self-tape because they obviously got a lot of great actors in Atlanta, but they sometimes have to seek further afield, you know.
Yeah. When they and that's the way the industry's going. So you know, there's so much more opportunity in that respect for you to get jobs, to get work, to stay active and to stay busy. And after all, that's really what being an artist is, isn't it?
Yes.
Staying active.
Yeah. No, it is. You got to keep active. You got to, you know, a lot of that I've learned too is that it's not who you know, it's who knows you. You know, if you put your work out there and you do good work, then that is what, you know, essentially gets you off the ground, I think. And just be consistent and just keep moving forward. You know, a lot of people come to this town with, you know, $5,000 in their pocket, and then their money disappears, and then they think, well, this is not for me, you know?
Yeah, you don't make it overnight.
No.
I mean, you're not going to be found in some ice cream parlor anymore.
Right.
You know, this is not going to happen.
No,
and really, when you start doing the historical aspect of those stories, it's all mythology and folklore because it really didn't happen that way.
No.
I mean, that's the creation of the PR department.
Right.
You know, that makes that happen in all that respect. Yeah. So what's coming up here in the next couple of months? What are you working on? What's happening?
Got a few more projects. Greg is working on a few more things. I've got like 3 or 4 horror movies. There's Evil Flesh with Greg. There's Blood Fury, which is a UFC related movie. There's a family movie called Christmas Cat, which sounds really cute.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a diverse bunch of things. Did some horror movies with a good friend of mine who I worked with years ago called Jacob Whitley for Whitley Films. Cadaver, Blink, The Devil's Beneath, and then I've got the sci-fi movie coming up as well. So, you know, this is like this year and next year, sort of roundabouts. And yeah, just keep doing my thing, you know.
Yeah, well, you see, that's why you've put so much together in a short period of time because you're constantly working and doubling and tripling things up, and that's really the key to it. Cy Richardson, another pal of mine, longtime character actor in town, just a very good friend of mine. I talk about him a lot because he's just a terrific man. 20 years my senior, and we kind of he came to town from Chicago. He was a bus driver for a long period of time, and he came to town around 38 years old and started his acting career here. But he did musical theater in Chicago and comedy clubs because in Chicago there's a lot of musical theater, a lot of churches put plays, and it's just a kind of a different environment there. So he did a lot of that and came to town here and got his feet rolling. I met him. I was just young, 16, 17 years old. And one of the things he always said is that you got to keep working, and you got to keep working, even if you're working for free, even if you're working on the corner juggling at Westwood. You know, you got to keep working. You got to keep working on your art, and the art is a full round kind of experience in terms of that. And as an actor, you get a chance to do a lot of cool different things and learn, like music and painting and stuff, because it's what it calls for. Do you dabble in other parts of artistic form other than the graphic artists and the?
I write music.
You write music.
Just some of my music is on there.
Was that your music?
No, some of the other videos that popped up afterwards.
Well, give the website.
Links.
Give the website again.
Yeah, I've got so my acting site is scottbutleractor.com. My art site is scottbutlerart.com, and my music site is scottbutlermusic.com.
Okay, well that's
nice
simple.
and easy to remember.
Yeah.
The music site hasn't been updated in a long time, but I dabble. I played a little bit of keyboard and I kind of sequence, put music together, kind of something I've been doing for 20 odd years. And it's kind of a little side gig.
I think you're probably better than dabbling at it if you do it for 20 years. I mean, there are things I've done.
Very on and off.
There are things I've done with myself for 20 years, and I'm not even good at it yet. Bum. As the weekend comes and gets closer, I try to get a little better at it, but it just doesn't seem to be working
Well,
out.
I always say I do too many things, like art, music, and games, and acting, and everything. So I'm just master of none, basically.
Well, yeah, that's right.
I think that's where I'm at. But
well, you can be a master of many art forms, and I believe that if you have a passion for what you're doing, you can master a lot of things because it's all interrelated. And your passion for acting, you got that bit by the bug later on in life, and now this is it.
Yeah, you just got to have fun. You just got to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're having fun and people are having fun with what you're doing, then I think it's all worth it. And that's all I can ask.
What are some of your favorite actors that you grew up watching?
Oh my gosh, I really enjoy the Indiana Jones series, and of course I love Star Wars. And
yeah, he's
so
a Star. See, you don't see what happened before the show. I'm a Star Trek guy, so we're out in the hall here, and I'm shooting him with my phaser, and he's hitting me with his lightsaber. Right. So we're playing out there. You didn't know. Yes, I told you. A lot of things go on here at the Power of
Hey, I
Voices.
like Star Trek too. I did an audio series for Star Trek.
Did you really?
It was just a fan one, but it was a lot of fun playing a fleet captain, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, that fantasy thing,
it was
it's
good.
kind of cool.
I enjoyed it,
Yeah. Well, I look at what they've done. Both those franchises are just massive franchises.
Yeah, and they're doing good stuff with them. I mean, the new movies, new Star Wars movies are good.
The new Star Trek stuff. Discover's comes.
J.J. Abrams has been knocking it out of the park. I mean, it's just great movies.
Yeah, he's been getting better at it. When he first got them, I was kind of worried of it because I'm a Gene Roddenberry fan.
Sure.
But they kept the humanity story in them.
They did.
And that's the key to Star Trek.
That's Star
the,
Trek's
the humanity theme.
Absolutely.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah.
To seek out new life and new civilizations on our 5-year mission to boldly go where no one has gone before. Woo!
You got a good voice for that.
Yes, thank you. I do.
Yeah. I should have worked on Star Trek.
I should. You got an inside for me, man? I mean,
I'll let you know if I get one.
I'll give you 10%. I even raise it to 15.
Oh, now we're talking.
You can get 20 out of it.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Thanks for letting me know. It's all right. I was going the next.
Just hold on.
Yeah, I'll talk myself and no money. I'm really good at that.
I'll give you 100%.
Yeah. Please.
I just want to be on the screen.
I just want a donut. That's it. A job.
I just want some Vulcan ears.
Oh, man. I have the whole setup.
Do you?
Oh, God, I'm terrible.
Do you do the cons?
Oh, come on, man.
Do you?
Come on.
You got
come
it going.
on.
Got it going on.
I got it going on. Now, the Star Wars stuff I liked, but I never got. I mean, I liked it. Obviously, you get into Star Wars, but I loved Babylon 5.
Oh yeah,
I loved Babylon 5. Yeah. I loved Battlestar Galactica with James Edward Olmos.
Yep.
I thought
the
that
original,
was,
of course.
Yeah, oh man, well that's Lauren. That was Lauren Green with that beautiful voice. Lauren Green. That's right.
Yeah, Battlestar Galactica was ahead of its time.
Yeah, it really was.
The Cylons freaked me out as a kid.
They did. They freaked me out too, man.
They were terrifying.
But they had that stupid robot dog, Moxie, Boxy, Woxy. That blew it for me,
It was a little annoying.
It was real annoying. You got any pets?
No.
Thank goodness.
I get broody for puppies every now and again. I see somebody's puppy and I'm like, oh,
well,
God.
You want to go to the pet expo?
Maybe.
Here, you got 2 tickets right here to the Pet Expo. It's
Thank
free.
you.
It's fun in Costa Mesa. You can take your significant other, your lady friend or your doggy friend or whatever.
I'll go buy a dog and take him along.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 animals on site. That sounds like chaos.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You're going to see all kinds of it. So that's for you.
Thank you.
Never
Very
said you didn't
kind.
get nothing from me.
Very kind, yeah.
Right? That's right.
Thank you.
Hey, Lee, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that. Shh, don't tell him. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Can I get a couple from you? Is it, Mama T wants one, Come on.
Yeah, she's looking for a new dog. Hey, you walked right into that one.
I surely did, didn't I? Well, what can I tell you? This wiener dog doesn't work the way it used to,
You said that.
I did. I'm trying not to get into trouble. Mama T. Mama T, yes, I love you. I do. You do have my wallet. All right, man. We had a lot of fun here today. So give that website out and a Facebook page and how the fans can keep in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. My website is scottbutleractor.com. It's Butler, like Gerard Butler, no relation. My Facebook is Scott Butler Actor. Just search for that. You'll find me. And my Instagram and Twitter are Scott Butler Act.
Yes, and you got to check him out. And a lot of great films. Check out the IMDb site. Look for his stuff coming up. This guy is so busy. He's working in a lot of stuff. He's doing a lot of stuff. And we just had a handsome gentleman walk in behind him. Hey, how you doing there, man? Good to see you again. All right, that's got to be Greg Bell. Yes. How did I know that? I'm psychic. That's right. Jesse T. The Brown Beauty's on duty, still with you. We're going to be out of here. Scott, thanks for checking in, brother.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, man. And check us out tomorrow right here from 5 to 6, Monday through Friday. It's the Jesse T Show on thepowervoices.com, facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. We archive there. Hey, you entered the world according to Terrero. Now you're straight on the spot, baby. Hey, Scott, can I go to the Pet Expo with you? Because I don't think I'm going to get any tickets.
I haven't got any spares, mate. I already gave them away. Sorry.
I can't get nothing. The Brown Beauty's off duty. See ya.
I'll sneak you in somehow.
Okay, thanks. Bam. See ya. Oh, come on, man.